Imagine a quiet, unassuming house on a normal street. From the outside, everything looks perfect. The lawn is manicured, the paint is fresh. But inside, in the walls, a colony of termites is silently, relentlessly chewing away at the foundations. They don't make a lot of noise. They don't announce their presence. They just feast on the very structure that holds the house up. The owners don't know about the termites. They're busy living their lives, worrying about the mortgage, the weather, the leaky faucet in the upstairs bathroom. They even diligently bring food into the house every day. And some of that food, unknowingly, is the perfect feast for those hidden termites. They are, in essence, feeding the very source of their home's eventual collapse. This house is your body. And for decades, we've been told to worry about the leaky faucets, the cholesterol, the blood pressure, the occasional aches and pains. We've been taught that the major structural threats, like cancer, are a matter of bad luck, a roll of the genetic dice, or a bolt of lightning from a clear blue sky. But what if the most significant threat isn't a bolt of lightning at all? What if it's more like those termites, a hidden weakness that is being methodically fed by something we do every single day without a second thought? What if the most common, most celebrated, and most comforting foods sitting in your kitchen right now are the preferred meal for this hidden enemy? What if, with every seemingly innocent bite, you are supplying the raw materials for this silent destruction? Today, we are going to turn on the lights in that house. We are going to expose this hidden enemy, identify its number one favorite food, and show you how to stop feeding it immediately. Hello, and welcome to 40 Plus Wellness. We're so glad you're here. This is a space dedicated to you, to navigating the incredible journey of life after 40 with strength, health, and wisdom. Our promise is simple: to bring you authentic, meticulously researched information that you can actually use in your real life. Today's masterclass is one of the most important we've ever produced. We are going to explore the groundbreaking science that reveals cancer not as a genetic lottery, but as a metabolic disease with a profound vulnerability. We're going to give you the knowledge and the tools to exploit that vulnerability, to turn your body into an environment where this disease struggles to survive. We're going to talk about the number one cancer fuel, and it is, without a doubt, in your kitchen right now. The information we're about to share isn't just data. It's a new lens through which to view your own health and power. It's a mission to transform fear into action. If you believe in this mission to reclaim our health with wisdom, please take a moment to subscribe and join our community of health protectors. We'd be honored to have you on this journey with us. By joining our community, you are making a powerful statement that you are ready to become the architect of your own well-being. Now, let's begin. To understand how to defeat an enemy, you must first understand what it eats. For almost 100 years, a profound secret about cancer has been hiding in plain sight, discovered by a Nobel Prize-winning scientist named Otto Warburg. He observed something astonishing, that cancer cells have a bizarre and inefficient way of making energy. This is our first principle, understanding cancer's ancient addiction. Healthy cells in your body are like sophisticated hybrid engines. They can gracefully switch between fuel sources. They can burn sugar when it's available, or they can burn fat and ketones. They do this in the presence of oxygen, in a highly efficient process that generates a tremendous amount of energy to power your life. Cancer cells, however, are different. Professor Thomas Seyfried and other leading researchers have shown that the mitochondria, the little power plants inside cancer cells, are damaged. They are like old, rusty, smoke-belching engines from a bygone era. Because their oxygen-burning machinery is broken, they are forced to rely on a primitive, ancient process called fermentation to survive. And this fermentation process has one single, obsessive, all-consuming addiction: glucose. Sugar. This isn't just a preference, it's a desperate, absolute dependency. This is the Warburg effect, and it is the foundational weakness of every single cancer cell. Think about Sarah, a 58-year-old school principal who had always considered herself a healthy eater. After a routine checkup led to an early-stage cancer diagnosis, her world was turned upside down. She followed her doctor's orders for treatment, but a nagging question haunted her: why did this happen? And what can I do to stop it from coming back? She didn't smoke, she exercised, she wasn't a big dessert person. But as she dove into the research, she had a startling epiphany. Her healthy diet was built on a foundation of cancer fuel. Her breakfast was oatmeal with honey and a glass of orange juice. Lunch was often a whole wheat sandwich and a low-fat yogurt. Dinner was pasta with a lean protein. She was flooding her system with glucose all day long, thinking she was doing the right thing. Realizing that these healthy carbs were being broken down into the exact molecule that cancer cells ferment for fuel was a shocking, but ultimately empowering moment. It was the key she had been looking for. This is why PET scans, one of our main tools for detecting cancer, work. A patient is injected with radioactive sugar water. The cancer cells, in their desperate hunger for glucose, gobble it up voraciously, lighting up on the scan like beacons. We are literally using cancer's #1 addiction to find it in the body. So, the first step is a profound shift in awareness. We must stop seeing sugar as just empty calories and start seeing it for what it is in this context: a powerful growth promoter for our body's most feared enemy. Your task is to become a sugar detective in your own home. For 1 week, your mission is to uncover the hidden sources of glucose. First, go beyond the obvious. We know candy, cake, and soda are sugar. The real culprits are the hidden ones. Pick up 5 items from your pantry or fridge that you consider healthy: yogurt, salad dressing, bread, canned soup, protein bars. Read the label. Look for total carbohydrates and added sugars. You will be stunned. Sugar hides under dozens of names: dextrose, maltodextrin, brown rice syrup, evaporated cane juice. It's all just sugar to a cancer cell. Second, audit your drinks. That healthy fruit smoothie? It's often a massive dose of sugar without the fiber to slow its absorption. Your favorite specialty coffee? It can have more sugar than a can of soda. For 1 week, make water your primary beverage and see how you feel. Third, question the healthy grains. Oatmeal, brown rice, whole wheat bread, while they contain fiber, your body ultimately breaks them down into glucose. The question is not whether they are good or bad, but whether they are contributing to a high glucose environment in your body. Start by simply reducing the portion size of these foods by half. This audit isn't about guilt. It's about data collection. It's about understanding the battlefield before you can win the war. Now, simply consuming sugar isn't the whole story. The body's reaction to that sugar is arguably even more critical. This leads us to our second principle: taming the growth switch, insulin. When you eat carbohydrates and your blood sugar rises, your pancreas releases a hormone called insulin. Insulin is like a key that unlocks your cells to allow glucose to enter and be used for energy. This is a normal, healthy process. However, in our modern world of constant snacking and high carbohydrate meals, we are bathing our bodies in insulin 24/7. And here's the critical point: insulin is not just a key, it is a powerful growth signaling hormone. It tells cells to grow, divide, and multiply. Cancer cells are covered in an abnormally high number of insulin receptors. They are exquisitely sensitive to its message. When insulin is high, it's like a megaphone shouting, "Grow, grow, grow," directly at any dormant or active cancer cells. Let's consider John, a 62-year-old contractor who was always on his feet. He was strong, But he carried extra weight around his middle and was recently diagnosed with prediabetes. His doctor warned him about his heart health, but no one mentioned cancer. He lived on quick, easy food, a bacon, egg, and cheese on a roll for breakfast, sandwiches and chips for lunch, a big plate of pasta for dinner. He was spiking his blood sugar and insulin all day long. When he finally learned about the link between chronic high insulin and cancer progression, it all clicked. His belly fat wasn't just a cosmetic issue, it was a sign of insulin resistance, a state of metabolic chaos. The same process that was leading him toward diabetes was also creating the perfect growth-promoting environment for potential cancer. This realization empowered him to see his diet not just as a way to manage his weight, but as a critical tool to lower his cancer risk. He wasn't just losing weight, he was silencing the growth signals in his body. Think of it this way: if glucose is the raw building material for cancer, insulin is the foreman on the construction site, cracking the whip and telling the workers to build faster. You can have a pile of bricks, but without the foreman, construction is slow and disorganized. By controlling your insulin levels, you are essentially firing the foreman. The application here is to stabilize your blood sugar and, in turn, your insulin. First, build your meals around the fat, fiber, and protein framework. Every time you eat, ensure your plate has a source of healthy fat, like avocado, olive oil, nuts, a source of fiber, like leafy greens, broccoli, asparagus, and a source of clean protein. This combination dramatically slows down the absorption of any carbohydrates, preventing a sharp insulin spike. Second, change the order you eat your food. A fascinating body of research shows that eating your vegetables and protein before you eat your carbohydrates can reduce the subsequent glucose spike by up to 70%. So, eat your salad first, then your chicken and broccoli, and save the potato or bread for last. It's a simple, free, and incredibly powerful trick. Third, embrace vinegar. A tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in a glass of water before a meal has been scientifically shown to lower the blood glucose response. It helps to blunt the insulin spike from the food you're about to eat. By managing insulin, you're not just fighting one aspect of cancer. You're improving your overall metabolic health, reducing inflammation, and lowering your risk for a host of chronic diseases. So, we've identified the main fuel, glucose, and its delivery driver, insulin. But glucose is not the only fuel source we need to be aware of. This brings us to a lesser-known but equally important player, our third principle, unmasking the second fuel, glutamine. Professor Seyfried's research is clear. Cancer cells are addicted to glucose, but when glucose is scarce, they have a backup generator. That backup fuel is an amino acid called glutamine. Glutamine is essential for many bodily functions, including immune health. Cancer cells hijack it and use it voraciously for their growth and survival, especially in a low-glucose environment. This is a crucial piece of the puzzle. A common mistake people make is to switch to a very low-carb diet but drastically increase their intake of certain proteins, thinking it's a healthy alternative. While protein is vital, an overabundance of specific protein sources can supply cancer cells with the glutamine they need to weather the storm of a low-sugar diet. Think of it like a besieged castle. You've cut off the main supply road, glucose. The inhabitants, cancer cells, are starting to starve. But then, they discover a secret, hidden well inside the castle walls, glutamine, allowing them to hold out for much longer. To truly win the siege, you must restrict both the main road and the secret well. The goal is not to eliminate glutamine, as it's essential for healthy cells. The goal is to avoid providing it in a highly concentrated, easily accessible form that cancer cells love. So, what's the plan? First, focus on protein quality and quantity. Don't fall into the trap of thinking more protein is always better. A moderate amount is key. The general recommendation for a metabolic approach is around 1.2 to 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of ideal body weight. Second, be mindful of high glutamine sources. Processed foods, whey protein supplements, and excessive amounts of dairy can be very high in glutamine. When choosing protein, focus on whole food sources like pasture-raised eggs, wild-caught fish, and grass-fed meat in appropriate portions. Third, a powerful strategy to naturally down-regulate your body's use of glutamine as fuel is therapeutic ketosis itself. When your body is fueled by ketones, it creates a metabolic environment that makes it harder for cancer cells to access and utilize glutamine. The ketones themselves seem to have a signaling effect that helps put the brakes on this secondary fuel pathway. So far, we've learned to restrict the two primary fuels for cancer. Now comes the most empowering principle of all. This is where we go on the offensive. Principle 4. Flooding your body with anti-cancer fuel, ketones. When you drastically reduce carbohydrates and manage your protein, your body performs a metabolic miracle. It switches from being a sugar burner to a fat burner. Your liver begins to break down fats, from your diet and from your own body fat, into magnificent little energy molecules called ketones. This is the state of nutritional ketosis. And it is, arguably, the most hostile metabolic environment for cancer you can create.
Why?
Because your healthy cells, your brain, your heart, your muscles, have flexible, healthy mitochondria. They love ketones. They run on them cleanly and efficiently. Cancer cells, with their broken mitochondria, are metabolically crippled. They largely lack the ability to use ketones for fuel. Think of it as a currency exchange. The entire economy of your body switches from the dollar, glucose, to the euro, ketones. All of your healthy, law-abiding citizen cells can easily exchange their money and continue to thrive. But the criminal cancer cells are stuck with a currency that is no longer accepted. They can't buy fuel. They can't build new structures. They starve, while your healthy cells flourish. This is not a fringe theory. It's based on the fundamental bioenergetics of the cell. A powerful case study is that of Pablo Kelly, a man diagnosed with glioblastoma, one of the most aggressive brain cancers. He defied his initial grim prognosis for years by diligently using a ketogenic diet and other metabolic therapies to keep his body in a state of deep nutritional ketosis. He used the glucose ketone index, or GKI, a ratio that measures your blood glucose relative to your blood ketones, as a guide to ensure he was keeping his body in this anti-cancer state. His story is a testament to the power of this approach. So how do you start flooding your body with this clean, cancer-starving fuel? First, embrace healthy fats. They are no longer the enemy. They are the hero of this story. Your goal is to get 70 to 80% of your daily calories from high-quality fats. This means more avocados, olive oil, coconut oil, grass-fed butter, nuts, and seeds. Second, your vegetable intake should be your primary source of carbohydrates. Focus on above-ground, non-starchy vegetables: spinach, kale, cauliflower, broccoli, bell peppers, zucchini, and asparagus. These are packed with nutrients and fiber, with very few net carbs. Third, practice intermittent fasting. Simply shrinking your eating window to 8 hours a day, for example, eating only between noon and 8 p.m., can significantly accelerate your body's transition into ketosis. It gives your system a break from digestion and insulin release, encouraging it to start burning stored body fat for fuel. This metabolic shift is the ultimate goal. You are not just removing the bad, you are actively adding the good. You are creating a state of metabolic resilience and flexibility that is the very definition of long-term health. Now, I know we have covered a tremendous amount of information. It can feel overwhelming. So let's pause. Your homework for today is a powerful act of self-reflection. To make this real, I'd love for you to share one thought in the comments. What is the one food or drink that you now realize might be contributing the most cancer fuel to your body, and what is one small step you can take this week to reduce your consumption of it? Sharing your experience is a powerful act. It helps you, and it lets others in this community know they are not alone. I can't wait to read your thoughts. The greatest power we have lies in the choices we make every day. The food on our plate is not just sustenance, it is information. It is instruction. It is either building our health or potentially feeding our disease. By understanding the fuel cancer uses to survive, you have been given a map. You now have the knowledge to navigate away from danger and towards a future of vibrant health and resilience. You are no longer just a passenger. You are the pilot. Thank you for your time and for your trust. Be the health detective that you and your family deserve.